And while we credit SkewMond and Labrov so much for what they've been setting up, really it is Hans Sama that is the batter of the team. He is the one that is hitting those home runs in the team fights, dishing out the damage that his team needs to close out these fights. So our attention turns to his opponent on the other side of the wrist, Supa. Caught out a couple times in that previous game. We need to see step-ups in performances from the MKOI squad if they want to make the reverse sweep a reality.
What will their draft look like? Could be the final one. No reason to hold anything back. Fighting tooth and nail if they want to make the reverse sweep happen.
The Trundle ban alongside the Poppy heavily suggests that they're thinking about an early Sejuani. The Nocturne taken away as well. They want to mitigate G2's ability to dive and threaten the backline, along with potentially getting rid of some strong frontline that KOI is currently planning. With the Varus and the Ambessa also taken away, the Pantheon, I think, is a smart ban. Take that away from Elyoya. I wonder if something like Sejuani or Skarner will be that prio.
But the Azir has been left open for the first time in this draft, so will be immediately gobbled up by Jojopyun. I think he's going to be fairly happy, but clearly this is planned by G2. We'll have to see what Caps has an answer for in the mid lane. What he used to go for was that way, was buffed on this patch, and could easily be the game plan here.
We've also seen him bring the Ziggs out before,
True.
And we know that Ziggs is a very effective champion. Of course, Taliyah, tried and true, fits very much into Caps' wheelhouse. A lot about the roaming, a lot about making stuff happen on the map, along with having good early pressure against the Azir. Looks like that's going to be the safer choice, and they're going to lock that one in. Now, traditionally, we would see a jungler paired alongside it. Admittedly, normally we don't see Taliyah Azir this late into the draft, so I'm curious as to what jungler will be the partner alongside Caps in the mid lane.
Could still end up going for something like the buy if you want to here for SkewMond. Kai'Sa is still up and available as well, and definitely gives you a lot of that potential to go for dives and play through it. But
Volibear.
I have Volibear, basically another, hey, we want to try and provide that CC for the Taliyah to open up.
This is really weird, guys. He picked Volibear in Game 3 last time, too. We had Game 2 where it was kind of close, and then it blew up because Supa got caught a little bit. I'm like, history's repeating itself in a way that I would describe as distinctly uncomfortable, but perhaps G2 have leveled up their planning around this Volibear, and MKOI certainly locking in some powerhouse picks for themselves. Supa on a champion like the Kai'Sa that can now maneuver, protect itself, and Alvaro, I think this is still his best pick.
And also, when you see so many of those other engaged supports taken away, crucial to the success here, because I think Alvaro has looked spectacular when he's the one that can set up for the engages. When we start to teeter into things like the Bard and this, it starts to get a little wonky in that bottom side. So I love the early prioritization from MKOI to get this bot lane comfortable.
A Karma pick surprises me. Not in terms of the matchup, but to pick it this early on, they really wanted to secure that support position. I guess they feel confident with the amount of AD carries left available to pair alongside this Karma. Ezreal is the usual pairing, but Caitlyn is a possibility. A bit of an old school Hans Sama pick, but something that paired alongside Caitlyn can exert massive laning pressure.
My question is what then happens to Broken Blaze champion, because at the moment I'm seeing very little engage on G2. Sure, Volibear can run you down, but it's a little telegraphed and a little easy to try and fight back against, especially with something like an Azir on the opposite side or a Neeko there to try and interrupt him. So I feel like you have to end up going for something like the Ornn or an engage for Broken Blade if you're going to go for a lack of engage on your car.
If we end up with an Ornn, perhaps a hyper carry on the bottom side for Hans Sama, we will see Ezreal a good call. Of course, later in the game, Kai'Sa feels pretty good about that matchup. So MKOI prioritized initially the Corki ban, obviously a champion you do not want to lane against. Now the Ezreal will follow, despite how favorable that matchup can be sometimes. Karma Ezreal is such a nightmare to play against.
I do wonder if it will be that Caitlyn, or if instead, I don't know, I have a feeling we're going to see something a little bit different here.
Is it something like a Jinx or something here to just say, hey, I've got like movement speed, shields, and enabler there, and not a huge amount of range apart from the Azir on the opposite side.
Faces. I don't trust the G2 players.
Looks like Caitlyn will be the lock-in coming through now for Hans Sama. Wants to outrange. This is going to be a pretty frustrating lane phase if they opt for a normal lane setup. We have still seen, again, that a lot of those lane swaps where the AD carry goes topside in the isolated 1v1.
So there was the Skarner that we were discussing at the beginning of the draft. So Sejuani Skarner, but also over in the LCK, Azir plus Skarner. It's kind of like a tried and true combo that we see a lot. Very solid front line, very good control when playing around these neutral objectives, largely because of his ability to appear from any wall. We'll see how quickly he can lock down this Caitlyn and Taliyah in the fights as they round things out with a Yorick.
The only thing I'm worried about is that you are very reliant on either Neeko flash engaging or having the Skarner come in for a, like, as you said, over the wall to get a flank to try and set up onto what is a relatively long range G2 with the Caitlyn and the Taliyah, and no longer is the front line long range.
He's locked that in.
Okay. We're committing it to top, yes?
Yes, it definitely will be top. Yeah.
What? Okay, good. All right, I was just a moment of doubt. I've seen enough International League of Legends to know that Karma top is a nightmare to play against, but Sett is the option. Remember last time he had the opportunity to counterpick, he went with Renekton, he got solo killed. It did not work out. This is another option for him overall, and hey, we've been trying to answer the question, who is the daddy of top lane? And I guess the real question is, who is the boss of top lane? Broken Blade, I'm a little skeptical.
I really thought he was just going to go Cho'Gath or something, you know?
It feels like you could start with the conventional answers to the champ.
Yeah,
he's like, nah, straight to the weird stuff.
God. So, I'm going to be really honest. I think the Sett pick really doesn't make any sense. Largely because Sett's biggest problem is actually closing the gap onto his opponents, right? And I can definitely see in the lane matchup how he can abuse the fact of the little ghouls, he can get easy stuns onto Yorick, he can trade effectively. Sure, that all makes sense to me in terms of the matchup, but I feel like he's just going to get kited around by a Neeko Azir. Maybe he can use the Skarner to his advantage to help get into the fight, but I'm not optimistic about seeing Sett here.
Yeah, I'm a little kind of caught between two places because I 100% agree with you, Benny. Like, if you're trying to be the engagers as G2, this just kind of sucks. Yeah, you got the Karma to try and help out and get the movement speed, but it's just not a great time. But if you as G2 are able to, like, set up and play around your trap line, play around these choke points with the Taliyah, that can be a way where you don't actually have to be the ones engaging. You can just try and play for this range advantage, play for poke, and make Supa essentially just useless because of the range discrepancy.
And this isn't the first time we've seen BB pull out the Sett. Spring, he did the same thing. It was Mbessa. That time it was Myrwn playing that Mbessa. He lost. Now this time Mbessa was banned. This time it's against a Yorick. And remember,
Do you think that's why?
maybe. Yeah, that's the long con. They've been perma-banning Mbessa for this exact moment. And of course, again, for G2, they're on match point. They're feeling good. The coordination they were lacking in so many previous splits has been there. MKOI, the crowd behind them, we thought it would energize them, but it hasn't been enough for them to find those wins. Remember, for Elyoya, this is an LEC champion, but an LEC champion who has won 3 times in a studio. The potential to win here in front of this audience, in front of a home crowd, slowly dwindling away. Will need to step up as Alvaro already forced to flash back. Some aggressive posturing on the bottom side from G2 in level 1. Losing that flash is disastrous for this 2v2.
And SkewMond going to look for the invade on towards Elyoya. Can use that Sky Splitter to steal away a lot of these small little raptors. And Elyoya just trying to keep that aggro, keep them away from grouping up.
Storm Splitter obviously makes it so hard to trade. Elyoya
Gets it though.
does get it. SkewMond's still pretty powerful though. Has the passive stack.
Exactly, he did stack that one up. He's going to bully him out, which means that they're doing the map split. So this is kind of fun because we've been casting League for a long time. Oh, I have to stand corrected. Elyoya's looking to fight back here, and here comes Alvaro. Labrov looking to assist. No smite available for Elyoya though.
In a little bit of damage back onto SkewMond. Sky Splitter a really long cooldown, but it's going to hit Alvaro at the very least. A little extra damage coming in from Labrov. A few more autos. Absolute fist fight. We're 2:18 in. It's the 2v2 battle for this red buff. Elyoya buying a bit more time for his smite. SkewMond is available, but he's only level 1. If he misses this smite, it'll be a disaster. Super and Hansama on the way as well. Sky Splitter means SkewMond manages to grab the red buff, and that means Elyoya's probably just a dead man walking. First blood. Absolute disaster. 2 minutes in.
It's game 3. MKOI needed to win, and they've just given across 2 kills to G2, and it might be a third as this wave starts to trundle towards the tower.
An ambitious contest from Elyoya. Supa level 2 underneath his tower. SkewMond not going to get enough experience to get that level 3, but now this bot lane will have to be left isolated. Caitlyn plus Karma looking to keep this pressure up. And this is the foundation of the idea. By splitting the map like this, you allow the Caitlyn Karma to just be crazy lane bullies. You can chip away at the low-ranged Kai'Sa and make her life miserable. But the fact that Elyoya got the early level 2, well, he didn't even get level 2, he was still level 1 because he didn't quite get enough of the minions. They interrupt Hansama's base, nicely done there. but ultimately things fall apart. 2 kills for G2 in the early game.
And this is devastating because Volibear, an incredible snowballing champion early on. Elyoya is going to find out the crab is down. SkewMond did not reset. Wants to try to 3-quadrant Elyoya in this match point situation. We'll see if Elyoya can get back down to the bottom side of the map. Labrov trying desperately to hold that wave as Hansama will return to lane with the Cole.
Yeah, the problem here, though, is sure, you can get Elyoya to move bot lane and get the crab, but with Caitlyn now on reset, they're going to push that wave back out, which means that for Elyoya, he can't get in and try and steal away some of these camps, because you'll have Labrov more than likely now move over to protect that quadrant for SkewMond. Elyoya just left level 3 with very little on the map for him to get.
Good news is he will get those Raptor respawns. He's also got Alvaro in the vicinity to help provide support. Level 3 is very close for Alvaro.
Moving in. Does just have the shape splitter. A bit extra poke. No root available as Supa now moving up to the top side of the map. Will play in this 1v1, but Broken Blade's level 5, so does need to still give a little bit of that respect. Obviously has a hard time getting on top of targets, but if Supa steps too far forward, easy haymaker into the face breaker.
The problem for this as well is that, oh, actually, Jojo.
Root likely to connect, but now pushing up in onto Caps. Caps hitting a threaded volley reasonably well, but Jojopyun still has the advantage in terms of health. Labrov, the flash now coming out. Well played by Jojo. Flash back in response. Alvaro there to try to back him up, but just a flash for flash trade.
I really do love the way that Jojo doesn't retreat in the face of danger. He just goes forward, forcing the flash out from Caps early. He is forced to use his flash as well, but very well played by him. He still catches this wave thanks to Alvaro being in the area. They're trying to interrupt the base on Caps, and they're going to get it.
Decent damage going in. Tangle barbs don't quite connect. Now it's Alvaro who's going to be in trouble. Game paused.
I mean, Alvaro is guaranteed to die here. He overstayed. He tried to interrupt Caps' base. The root was going to come down onto Labrov. I'm very curious as to what the cause of the pause is, because Alvaro, he's pretty much guaranteed to lose his life in this situation.
Yeah, didn't have the flash available and didn't have the heal either, so we'll have to wait and see. It did just tick up, but I think that's more because the pauses happened, so yeah. It was on cooldown. And that is not where you want to be as MKOI. Alvaro now giving across a kill. You've already had to swap your bot laner out of this horrible matchup on the bottom lane as well, which means that Myrwn is going to be set behind, as this Caitlyn is so good at just pushing these waves and chipping away at those turret plates.
And it looks like G2 are the ones who initiated the pause. The player reported peripheral issues. So it's not something in the context of a game or a bug. Instead, it's a peripheral problem, which, again, being frozen as MKOI, not able to speak to each other in a pretty disastrous early game in a moment where your support is very likely about to die. This is probably the worst timed pause imaginable for the mental state of MKOI, but
it's also just quite frustrating for Jojo, because given the position he was just in, the way he outplayed that, traded flashes with the enemy mid laner, he's got to be thinking in that moment, okay, this is pretty good, but now if the enemy mid just gets a kill in exchange, then he's going to find himself behind in the 1v1.
Now, however, seems like we're getting ready to go back into game here. And there we are. Okay, there's kills. Everyone's dead. Jojopyun and Alvaro are dead. Caps is dead. 2 for 1. That's not good. SkewMond's also taking a drink.
We're going to need a replay.
That's actually very bad.
We're going to need a replay on that one. Was not here we go. Okay. So, we know that Alvaro wanted to interrupt the base. But, I mean, this is so disrespectful in the face of Labrov. We know that he's going to have the root coming back up. There it is. Jojo in this situation says, okay, I've got to try and at the very least get 1 for 1. The stun comes through. Does end up trading 1 for 1, but the wave is now in an awkward spot. The dragon is secured.
Frankly, it is an absolute miracle that Jojopyun got that kill back. He had like 30 HP, E'd into the minefield. I mean, good that MKOI can get something. They're fighting desperately to hold control over midwave, but this game was already slipping away from them, and it's only getting worse.
It definitely is, but at least the silver lining to those clouds is all that gold is on Labrov. He's 3-0. Now, Karma can do some damage if she can get some items, but not ideal for G2. They would have loved some of that gold to go towards Caps in that mid lane.
I mean, the any % redemption speedrun is a thing to watch, but I thought we were in the LEC finals. Now SkewMond might be forced back. Nice knockback to the wall. Good follow-up CC there. Jojopyun going to try to finish the kill. SkewMond just got nowhere to go. He's too damn squishy. Jojopyun grabs that one.
These are the type of punishes that KOI need to find, and it's great that that kill does go over to Jojo. I feel like as a player in this series, he's been doing his absolute best in every single situation. He's been playing very well. So funneling resources into this Azir is definitely a strong potential win condition. Supa Not in a bad spot, thanks to the swap. Able to avoid the Caitlyn matchup, and he's doing pretty well in terms of farm.
Total damage dealt to champions. Labrov top of the charts there, well earned. Only a slight bit of damage ahead of Jojo, but I do agree with you, Vedi. Like, this Azir can be a major threat. Dark Seal even picked up as well in the early stages. If Jojo can start to get some of these assists, he can be a major difference maker. With 30 seconds left on the objective, it looks like G2 shifting Hansama mid should net them with the control they need to get the objective.
And I think part of the reason they did this is there's a small difference in the flash timers. Jojo's will be up first. He has access to that ultimate. It is so easy to kill Caps in mid lane in the isolated play if Elyoya shows up. Instead, it's Hansama, it's Labrov. Not an easy target. Easy to get that prio, however.
Just want to highlight, you can see in the bottom left, the timer of the flash of Azir is a little mismatched with what we're seeing on the icons. So just keeping track of that 2 minutes based on what we're seeing in the bottom left until that flash is available for Jojo. And we imagine that it's around the same time for Caps as well.
A good call out. Overlay a little bit misleading there. Still a lot of time to that flash available, but G2 leveraging the mid prio. This is why they put Hansama back in the mid lane. Easy to keep that push going, but Jojopyun now coming in. Elyoya ready to go through the wall if necessary. 2 grubs already down. Broken Blade in the area. They have to be careful. The angle for Broken Blade's ulti could be devastating. Supa free firing. 1 more auto to proc the plasma. Broken Blade walking away. The grit now starting to fade as well, but G2 again, they got 2. They're walking away. They don't want to commit too much more.
I wasn't sure how much MKOI wanted to commit to that. Jojo looked like he was in a decent spot for the shuffle, but not wanting to commit when there were still flashes available on Hansama and wouldn't get onto some of these key targets. Still, G2 keeping the gold lead and starting to keep these objectives in their favor.
That they are. Concerning position to be in, but MKOI have done a decent job of at least stemming the bleeding of that pretty rough early game. Again, Alvaro on this Neeko. Bit overeager in the mid lane, but this is a champion we've seen him so many times single-handedly turn the tides back in MKOI's favor. However, Jojopyun, the guy who after that kill mid lane kind of expected to be the main character, is now in a tough spot here as Caps is getting all that support from Labrov. Makes it hard for him to really press this advantage at all.
Labrov is doing a good job of just, as you say, supporting Caps though, and especially with so much of the criticism leveraged towards Labrov, this has been a fantastic time for him. This has been 9 straight finals for G2, and so far 2 of the losses have been with Labrov and SkewMond on the roster, so for them to be able to pick up a potential victory here at the very end of 2025 would mean massive things, not only for G2 as an organization and the fans, but for both of those newcomers on the roster. And
again, the story for both these teams is resilience. Who can hold on to that level of play, that level of performance as you go deeper into this best of 5. MKOI can't afford to falter again.
Also just an exciting year for the LEC. 3 in the event that G2 do win, that would be in 3 different champions throughout the year, which is the first time in the history of the LEC.
And it would stop G2 from going back to back to back, but in the really bad way.
It certainly would.
As much as I appreciate the various rap battle gifts over here, that would be the first time that one's been used negatively.
It would be, yeah, I mean, it's been a super exciting year. Seeing Kai'Sa start off with a victory into KOI. Our top 4 has been super competitive. And then Fnatic coming up clutch this weekend. Of course, KOI still in a decent position, even if they find themselves at a goal deficit for now. Elyoya on the flank.
Thinks he has the isolated 1v1 90 caliber net, though. Takes him out as well as the Ghost, and now he just continues to step up. Wall set down. Supa going to get on the right side of it. It's Elyoya who now has to be careful. Level 7. Will his ulti come out? The flash. The sidestep flash coming out as well. The root now locked down. The trap to come through. Hansama grabs it.
And it's an easy pickup for G2 as they punish the gank from Elyoya. They get the flash out from him as well. Nice collapse comes through from Caps as he sets up the play on the bot side, and this is exactly what you need to be doing on this Taliyah.
And this is exactly what you need to be doing into the pick of a Kai'Sa. The long range on the Caitlyn, punishing in the 2v2, now getting the plays with the teammates as well as Jojo wants to get something back. Good side steps, really putting the hurt onto Caps there.
Starting to feel like the lone source of hope for this team. The only person with an individual gold lead. SkewMond now 1,000 gold up. Hansama, again, last game was the Rek'Sai who got to just keep on pushing. This game, it's Hansama, makes it so difficult for Supa. And we've talked about this before, Rob. This Kai'Sa looks so good for us in LEC, but we see the Corkies and they never entirely shut her down. The Caitlyn's a different story. Kai'Sa is not an infallible pick. She can fall really far behind and feel useless if this gold lead continues to extend for Hansama.
I mean, credit to KOI, they have been able to get Supa out of this matchup as much as possible, and he's doing pretty good in the farm, but the fact that now that early kill has come through, the plate's being funneled into Hansama as well, he's built up about a 600 gold lead. Remember, a lot of the gold lead that G2 had, Dagda mentioned it earlier, it's sitting on the support.
It is true.
So I don't think it's all doom and gloom just yet for KOI. I think that they still have solid side lane threats, thanks to both Jojo on the Azir and Myrwn on this Yorick. The Drake situation isn't ideal, though, as so far in this series, the first dragon has come quite late. Oh, that's redemption as well, through the barrier.
Trying to snipe. Flash in. There's just no getting away from the Volibear. He's going to ult, but SkewMond also has access to his own ultimate. Can just go right under the tower. Does he want to risk it? The answer is no. They've delayed the reset. Very likely that Hansama can at least get another plate.
Exactly. I think it might even be the towers. Alvaro because able to escape away from that one, but G2 putting the hurt on this bottom side, and Hansama is picking up plate after plate. He's eating good.
Broken Blade focused on taking down the ghoul on the top side, but you can see the fans of MKOI looking to rally their supporters. The players definitely need that energy now.
And this is where the resets come through. Hansama, Yuntal is now completed, going to enter up to mid, but hold on.
Alvaro gets hit by the flick. Threaded volley continues to come out. Oh, the big one. The extra large rock to finish the kill. G2 again just keeping this pressure up. Jojopyun doing what he can, but it's just not enough.
An uncharacteristic performance from Alvaro. We've seen him getting caught out, well, twice now so far in this series. Of course, the early skirmishing, not really his fault, like what happened at level 1. But a player that we consider one of the key parts, you mentioned earlier, Drakos, part of that engine, the heart of what makes KOI work. Elyoya and Alvaro, the way they work together, the way they make early game things happen. So far, they've been shut down, they've been stymied, and it's SkewMond and Labrov that run the Rift.
But V12 seems to be the engine that G2 have stolen away here to keep themselves going, and V12 seems to be the difficulty of boulder that Caps has thrown into the faces of MKOI. They don't look like they have any real answer for the movement that G2 have around the map. They are faster, they are in position, and again, look at where Hansama is now on the map, pushing in that top side, putting more pressure onto these towers, but also crucially, keeping pressure on this top side with 40 seconds until that next objective.
There are shutdowns, or at least one shutdown. And it's on Labrov. Not where you necessarily expect to see it, but again, a potential 300 extra gold for MKOI to help shift things back in their favor. Jojo still feeling confident in the 1v1, but a nice flick from Caps might change that. SkewMond on the way in as well. Ulti coming in, the ace in the hole, decent damage, and Caps is now on the chase. Redemption coming out as well, and down goes Jojopyun, and that's, I guess, why you give money to the Karma.
Pick after pick. Caps is definitely waking up here in game 3. The ulti will whiff from Elyoya, and things are just falling apart across the map. Myrwn struggling in the 1v1. We kind of expected this from the matchup as both top laners have been rather quiet. Objective going to be secured, uncontested from G2. And the way this game is going, they're looking to clean sweep this summer finals.
And it's only getting harder. We talked about those glimmers of hope. Hey, you've been able to get some CS into Supa, but they're just getting further and further apart. The lead that Jojopyun had held onto for so long is now finally gone entirely. The Herald stacked in G2's favor. Soul Point 2 minutes away, it feels like. And MKOI running out of options as Jojopyun may find himself caught out. A nice dash back to Shifting Sands to walk away as Alvaro not going to be able to find the play on the top side.
Cap running into Supa. Good damage once again. Oh my goodness,
well, I
Caps.
think Supa's running into Caps, yeah.
He certainly is quite the proficient rock weaver in this game. Damage continues to come through. Looks like they're going to shift him towards the bot side of the map in anticipation of the dragon spawning soon. Sett can go back to the top lane with the TP available. Jojo setting up a slow push that Broken Blade's going to be more than happy to catch. The map state is just so favorable for G2 right now with their lane assignments, the wave states, the timing of the next objective, the Caitlyn threatening the mid-tier 1. Things are just rapidly falling apart for KOI.
And even just trying to take that space back is going to be so difficult as G2 open up a mid, Rift Herald to try and take the mid tower. You don't even have the pressure on the bottom side from this Yorick. You don't even need the Rift Herald, looks like. Tower going to fall. MKOI trying to defend.
Calling all 3 members down. Cap still pushing in the side lane. You can see even Jojo's forced to move over the second he sees that play start to happen, just in case they need the support. G2 fans feeling optimistic about this one. 3-0 easy.
I wasn't sure what to expect from
Yeah, we kept going, and I think there's a language barrier here where I'm like, yes, good banter, I think.
Easy, though. Easy, I got.
Well, for Supa, it's tough. Still able to pick up the CS, but the tower falling very quickly. And again, the game only gets more difficult once that mid lane tower breaks down. So much more passive vision available. And we talk about how good it can be for the Kai'Sa. Once there's that CC coming through, she can find her way into the back line. But again, the vast majority of the CC, when MKOI are behind like this, is so telegraphed.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult for MKOI to try and stop it, as Jojo going to get chased down now.
Jojo setting up the tower. Showstopper comes out. Jojopyun caught out. Flash back. It's a nice look at a little escape. Sidestep on the threaded volley. It's just not enough.
And G2 are playing both sides of the map. They get the play on top. Dragon being taken by SkewMond. And Labrov is pushing MKOI off of mid. Everything is going sideways.
A little bit of damage down onto him as SkewMond starts Drake in their face. G2 are just disgustingly far ahead. It might come down to a 50-50, however.
No, Myrwn's TP'd away. MKOI want nothing to do with this. It's going to be the third Dragon gone to G2, and that'll be that.
That it will. Despair starts to set in. MKOI, again, they need to rally. They need time in this game that they might not have.
They need to find some sort of miracle, but SkewMond's not going to give them the chance.
MKOI until today, it's been undefeated in Madrid when it came to series, but that miracle went to Fnatic, and now it's the Kings of Madrid that are maybe having to opt out of the throne and give it back to G2, who ran it for so long.
Such a good LEC caster. You managed to sneak Kings in a way that didn't start with G2. Well done, well done, well done.
Thank you. I've been
we'll
studying the books.
We'll add the bonus. Get a legacy and dynasty in there. But it's a damn good point, right? We thought that this would be the thing that galvanized them playing in Madrid. That felt like the moment where the story changed for MKOI. No longer an outsider looking in on the top four, but the best team in the league. Felt like that story could once again repeat itself here in the finals, but it just has not been the case.
I mean, of course, G2 have faced criticism pretty much all year, specifically on the changes that they made. After their last two international performances over the last 2 years, G2's been criticized for what their ceiling was, and so the organization had to make changes in order to shift their expectations, and this is the culmination of those changes. The year-long project that has now come to fruition. SkewMond and Labrov, with the leads that they've been able to build for themselves, has been a joy to see. And G2 are at the precipice of getting themselves a 3-0 clean sweep against KOI. And KOI, they're going to have to demonstrate their tenacity once more. They've showed it before. They've showed us what they're capable of. And I turn my attention to that man in the mid lane, Jojo. Supa with some nice trades.
Root coming out. Alvaro doing his best speed, but SkewMond just goes right in there. Supa now running for his life. SkewMond has overstayed. So we'll start to retreat. MKOI holding on for now. That he has not. They did get through the Sky Splitter shield, though, and that is a start.
They're going to need quite a few more items. They need to buy time. The thing is, G2 don't need to give it to them. They're setting up around the Otacon. You'll notice Caps already rotating towards the mid lane. Broken Blade looking for Jojo.
Forced to flash back as Elyoya was ready with the ult. The Sun Disc helping MKOI take a bit more control here. Bounty available on the Otacon if they can steal it. Myrwn walking down, but he has been spotted. Good vision from G2. Hansama trapping the pit, and MKOI trying to find a way to fight along the bottom lane. Caps now going in, kicking off the fight. Supa waiting over the wall, but he doesn't have a good angle in. SkewMond relatively untouched. Jojopyun instantly retreating, as is Elyoya. All of MKOI in free fall. Reset on the Otacon, but not quite. It's still only 7K. MKOI don't have a way back in. It's likely just going to G2.
The zone control with the traps, the Taliyah wall, Labrov on the Karma with the poke. It feels so difficult for KOI to really gain any space around the objective. They're chipped apart before they can even get close. The objective falls, and G2 are just running the rift here at match point.
Yeah, as soon as you come into this, the slows coming through make it impossible for Elyoya to really close that distance. A great wall from Caps to bring in the cavalry. And a Jojo is just looking to escape with Supa. It's every man for himself as MKOI realize there is no way they can fight against G2 in this position.
Supa doing what he can to, again, to just hoover up those waves. 2 items now for Jojo, but they're continuing to fall further and further behind. 30-19 the score in Flowers. Extra XP coming in for G2 as well. Caps close to ticking over to level 15. Jojo only approaching 14 now. I mean, the gold tells the two players who have not participated in the game, essentially Myrwn and Broken Blade, are even. Everything else is in favor of G2.
Absolutely. And again, Summer, I mean, the word quiet carry isn't really quite accurate because he hasn't been quiet at all.
He flashed forward on Sivir face first.
That's what I'm saying. He's had a fantastic series, and it all comes back to that analogy we were using earlier, which is that his team is kind of setting him up, but at the end of the day, he's the guy that hits it home for his team in this series. He's the guy that swings for the home run, dunks the ball into the net, and he's looking to do the same thing again.
Hell yeah, American sports, Betty.
Hell
Keep
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I think if I bring in hurling, nobody's going to follow.
Probably
so
not, but I'll just say, I know about as much about curling as I do about any other sport, Rob, so I'll just respond the same way I did to Betty. Hell yeah.
He runs the wickets.
Sure, those are words. I didn't know we were bringing Harry Potter into it, but
Okay,
fair
it's
enough.
cricket.
Yeah, I'm sure he gets
Here we go, Elyoya.
Elyoya. Bit of a catch here onto Broken Blade. Have to be careful. A lot of grit stacked up. Ulti back from Broken Blade. Gets the grit down. Decent damage, but it looks like he is likely to fall. The Super Blast Cone! But Supa there to follow. A shutdown. Perhaps the start of something for MKOI.
They need to get everything they can, but look at the mid, look at the top. They need to now move back to try and defend, but I think G2 are willing to call this bluff a dragon. They're just going to take the towers.
I mean, at the very least, it's something for MKOI. Getting that gold into Supa's pockets, denying the soul away from G2, getting the bounty on the bot tower as well. Like, it's a good sequence of play to reduce that gold gap. It was a 6.5k gold difference. It's reduced to 4.2.
Oh, they stuck around again, Vedi.
Jojo wants extra.
Yeah,
But now he's been spotted.
He doesn't have TP.
Does not have TP. This is looking like he's going to be done. Labrov shepherding him for SkewMond to finish the job. Summer likely to be donated the kills. He does have the ace in the hole available. Jojopyun going in for a bit of tower damage. Push back onto SkewMond, but he knows it's done. Ace in the hole finishes it. Summer on a killing spree. Again, though, still got the gold a bit closer, despite what it cost them.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best thing you can do in this situation for KOI. I like that they're still looking for punishes where they can. They catch Broken Blade without his flash on the bot side of the map. Myrwn able to push out that top wave. He's been able to build up a very healthy CS lead now, largely because of the slow push that he had on the top side. And you can see that there are avenues with which KOI could come back into the game. If G2 overstay their welcome, have poor positioning, and KOI can continue to find these picks, that is a way in which they can fight back here in Game 3.
I want to share that hope with you, Vedi, but I'm just looking at a rapid fire cannon now completed on Summer. He's a full item ahead of anyone on MKOI, and it just becomes so difficult from this position. You can see how strong G2 are pushing through here.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the odds are not in KOI's favor.
Yeah, it's just, my optimism is dwindling here pretty rapidly.
And you just have to hope that MKOI have more faith in themselves than you do in this situation. Because you're right, the math of League of Legends is stacked against them. The avenues of attack, the angles of approach are few to none, and it's going to take an incredible play from the side of MKOI to bring this one back.
But that's the thing, that math is probability, right? And to Vedi's credit, we've seen teams throw bigger leads than this. So we'll have to see if G2 can close this out cleanly.
I mean, it was KOI that threw against G2 with a lead bigger than this. We'll see if they can find that same punish onto G2 in this match. TP's coming through. I wonder if the Baron Force is finally going to come through from G2.
Oh, that trap line. No vision, no setup, no flanking ward angles.
And here we go, the moment of truth.
It's so hard. This game feels impossible to play if you give this Baron up. They have a Caitlyn. Weathering the siege will be a tall task. Jojopyun has to face check. 2K getting lower. G2 take the Baron. MKOI trying to sprint out as quickly as they can. Jojopyun, the ace in the hole. Elyoya is going to body block. Quick flash back from Jojo to stay standing as G2 just keep the pressure on.
A clean Baron with KOI given no room to respond. No objectives for them to play for right now. Remember that they've already gotten all of the tier 2 towers. The wave clear still holding strong for now on the side of KOI. G2 going to reset, spend what gold they can, and then they'll threaten the base of KOI, potentially for the last time of summer.
And that's where it just gets so tough. The Weaver's Wall from Caps, incredible at using this siege potential across 3 lanes. Summer with the rapid fire cannon, being able to take pop shots at both turrets and people underneath those structures. MKOI need to get creative. They need to fish for picks. They need to try and catch G2 before they set up outside the base.
And it's not enough to survive 2 minutes of siege. You need to survive a soul fight if you even want to contest it, or live on to face a G2 with a massive lead, a Baron buff, and a soul. We're only a minute 20 from that objective. We're going to find more and more ways to say everything is stacked against MKOI. We're short an Elder, but we're getting pretty close to everything else. As SkewMond base checking.
I mean, the thing with G2 is their siege is good, especially with Caitlyn. But Jojo is doing his best to wave clear. They're going to overstack on the bot wave. They have the members to keep this wave from getting to the tower, or maybe not.
Weaver's Wall comes in from Caps. Keeps Hansama safe so we can start to auto this tower. So much damage going in as Elyoya flashes in. Ulti back coming in for Broken Blade, though, and it's Elyoya who's been caught out. Alvaro! 4 members, but the follow-up damage is just not there. He finally found the engage, but it's too damn late. MKOI getting run down in their base. G2, again, unrelenting, poised to take the series.
G2 still have a wave, and there's only 3 members of MKOI left to hold against the onslaught.
G2 pushing in, closing out. Supa not enough in the face of this lineup with a 10K gold lead. A perfect 3-0-2 finals. They fell flat, but in summer, it is resilience. It is redemption as G2 return to the top of the LEC.
A victorious G2, a disappointed MKOI. They've had an incredible year, but to fall at the final hurdle in front of their home crowd must be so frustrating for the players, and you could see it. But it was a tough final as G2 came to play, and they absolutely dominated on the Rift.
MKOI on the day couldn't take them down, but MKOI over the course of summer have been incredible opponents, but it's G2 who find themselves back at the top, back in front of the trophy and at the top of the mountain.
And the trophy ceremony presented by Kia, well earned by G2, no question of who was the better team on the day. In 2025 for LEC has all about who shows up when it matters most. Today, that was G2 Esports.
For Labrov holding that trophy, this is the 4th finals that he has been to. It has been Elyoya who's denied him before, but him with the rest of the team stepped up massively today.
G2 putting SkewMond and Labrov at the forefront of the trophy lift. The roster changes that they made to put G2 at a higher level in the hopes of showing that they can still compete internationally and they can still be the top dogs of Europe. It took them all year to do it, but they do win a title here in 2025. And they do it in Madrid in a clean 3-0 fashion.
And again, that man, so much vitriol, so much hate thrown his way. He himself knew that he did not live up to the expectations put on his shoulders the second he put on that jersey and stepped into those finals. But today was a different story, the start of a different era. A Labrov who's a champion.
What an exciting year it's been for the LEC. 3 different champions across the year. G2 in every single final. And today, they really came to play. That man on your screen absolutely delivered. And huge credit to the organization and the growth that they've been able to make throughout 2025. We now send G2, MKOI, and Fnatic to this year's World Championship in China. And we see how they stack up against the international competition.
A proud moment for G2, showing that no matter who may go through the organization, they will always find their way back to the top of Europe, back to where they belong.
For the first time in a long time, though, it was not an easy path. One fraught with disaster and hand-painted managers.
Beautiful body paint as always.
Yeah, as always, very impressive from Myrwn.
And I mean, what else is there to say? It's been an absolutely awesome year of competition here in the LEC. Backs and forth, highs and lows. And now there's only the World Championship left. G2 will be representing Europe as the first seeds. And as we return to international competition, all of Europe will be rooting for our 3 teams to perform in Beijing.
The beginning of something great for the LEC internationally. G2 finally achieving their domestic ambitions. See if they can deliver on the world stage as well. But that's a story for another day. Today, about a victory hard fought and well earned